So a few months ago, I was very fortunate to be sitting in the room having a conversation with one of the most successful people I've ever met. This is somebody that's built a brand worth a couple billion with a B dollars. Did I do the B right? Based on you watching? That's with a B, billion, it doesn't flip it. And himself being worth, you know, easily a couple $100 million or something like that. And one thing that we spoke about really stuck with me, and it was probably definitely one of the biggest business lessons I learned in the past year, if not ever. So just want to break that down in this video. Okay, so a few months back, I was working with this company. This is actually the same co-founders and brand owners that I was referring to in the video where I talked about losing 61,000 however much money. That is because I'm no longer, I decided to let this thing go and just move on to my own things, partially in a way, I guess, because of this lesson, sort of. So anyways, I'm with these super, like the most focused, successful entrepreneurs I've ever been in the presence of, no joke. And you know, by the end of like the meeting and all of that, just kind of like hanging around and talking and stuff like that. And I can't remember exactly how it came up, but I might have asked him like what podcasts or business books that he read or liked or just anything like that. And he was just like very, very simply just like, I don't read business books anymore. I don't like business books. And I was just like, oh, interesting. And he basically explained that, here's the punchline. The punchline is business is a means to an end. That was his words that really stuck with me. And what he means by that, and what I mean by that now as I've kind of hijacked that, is that you're not doing business to do business. Like there's so much hustle porn right now going on of just everyone wanting to show that they're working the hardest, and you know, they're by the pool with their laptop and they're like on the phone constantly, and they're just like, they're playing business, right? Like they're playing business, like they're acting like they're on planes all the time, and they're acting like they've got all these meetings, and they're acting like they're just so busy, and they're bragging about how much they don't sleep, and all of this shit that I completely disagree with, that I think is disastrous to humans. I want to make more videos on that. But anyways, the point is that he was saying business is a means to an end, meaning you're not doing business to do business. You're not like, you do business because you want to make a change or you want to have a result in your own life or in the world. Meaning, what is the goal underlying the reason that you want to do business? Okay, so you want to start a business because you want to make money. Okay, why do you want to make money? You want to make money so that you can say you have $1 billion? Do you want to make money so that you can try to cure cancer? Do you want to make money so that you can quit your job and travel and sit on the beach? Like, what is the means? What is the end that you're trying to get the means for? It's not just to do business. It's not just to prove that you're an entrepreneur so you can look cool on Instagram and take pictures in front of rented, you know, jet suite, whatever that you got on Groupon for $250 or whatever, and then you rented a G-Wagon for like $99 a day on Turo. That's not business, and like that's not the ends that you should be chasing. You're probably getting into business because you have some other goal. And I think right now a reason that I've kind of hit a weird like mid-entrepreneur crisis or something like that is I've kind of like lost my way a bit. Like I'm trying to figure out like what the next thing is. Because I think at the beginning, for me, it was really simple. It was not to, you know, I didn't have massive aspirations at the beginning, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All I really wanted was time freedom and location freedom. I just wanted to be able to go visit family if I wanted to. I wanted to wake up when I wanted to and not be like, oh shit, now I have to go sit in traffic to go do something that I hate. I just wanted to get up and do what I wanted and just, you know, just do what I wanted and just pursue life, right? And the truth is, it doesn't take that much to achieve that. Like, it doesn't take, you know, $1 million a year to achieve that. I think for me personally, it takes not even 10 grand a month for me to be able to live basically basically in a way that would be very comfortable and allow me the freedom to pursue whatever I want. And that's kind of the stage I'm in now, is it's like, well, what is that next end? What is that next thing that I need to reverse engineer and track towards? Like, oh, I want to get here. So what are the backward steps that lead to those ends? Because you're not just doing it for the sake of doing it, which I think is most people, because they just have this ego about business and they're just trying to prove that they work the hardest, or that they have the biggest aspirations, or they slept the least, or they, you know, got the most numbers on Amazon, or they sold the most this, or they, you know, spent the most on ads here, or they went to the most conferences, or they took the most flights, or whatever it is. Like, those are dumb metrics. Those are not the right metrics that you should be tracking. What you should be tracking is what you actually want to accomplish. So is that to quit your job? Is that to retire your parents? Maybe it is massively big. I've definitely gone through phases where I have massively big aspirations, and I might get back to that. The thing is I don't feel passionate and strong enough about any one of those to put that as my North Star right now. But maybe you do. Maybe you literally want to be Elon Musk and try to populate Mars, or maybe you want to literally try to cure diseases, and that's kind of what it is with who I'm talking about, is that he was basically like, okay, I want to, like, you know, be able to be in a position where I could, let's say, cure cancer, literally. Like, that is kind of like the vision, right? So it's like, okay, well, you know what would make that a lot easier? Having billions of dollars, right? Okay, so we want to cure cancer, so it would make it a lot easier if we had billions of dollars. Okay, how do we get billions of dollars? All right, let's learn business. Okay, business. So let's figure out what a good business would be. Let's get all the best experts at business. That's actually how he built a multi-billion-dollar company. It wasn't just like, I love business and I just want to be a businessman and wear suits and jump on planes and just, like, you know, have 10 phones and all of that stuff. It was, and have a skyscraper. It was really like, that is the end. Oh, and business will help get to this point where I have resources, where I can devote these resources to the things that I really want. And that is, like, was clearly hugely motivating and hugely pushed him to be able to achieve amazing things. It wasn't just like, well, I want to have a big business. It was like, no, I want to have these resources to be able to fix major world problems, which require a lot of resources. Okay, I can go figure out this business thing so that I can allocate those to that. Now, lucky for you or I, maybe you don't need to, you know, fix the world. Maybe you just want to be able to provide for your children, or like I said, or you know, pay off your parents' debt, or just quit the job that you don't like, or maybe it is to get a better car. That's fine. The thing is that once you actually figure out what that end is, then you might realize that you're way closer than you think. You might realize that you don't need to build the biggest thing in the world to be able to achieve these goals that you want. Like, let's use the funny cliche example of, let's say you want the freaking Lamborghini, all right? So let's reverse engineer that. You just want to have a Lamborghini. Okay, it does not cost as much as you think. For example, you might think you need to make $1 million a year to have a Lamborghini. You don't. You could go buy a Lamborghini Gallardo for, if you want the stupid E-Gear one, you could find one of those for like 70 or 80 grand. If you want the 6-speed manual, let's say $105,000, all right? So let's say you have good credit, you go put 20% down, you put, you know, 22,000 down or whatever. Your payment's probably gonna work out to, like, I don't know, what is that? Probably like $1,200 a month. I mean, when you think about it that way, it's just not that unattainable. So that might be a silly example, but the point I'm making is figure out the ends that you actually want. Do you want to have the resources to do crazy things in the world? Okay, then you might need to track towards building a massive, massive company. Do you want to just have an apartment by the beach and a cool car and, like, whatever? Like, okay, it's probably a lot cheaper than you think. You probably don't need all of that much. And that's kind of caused me to kind of burn out in the last 6 to 12 months in a way, just because I kind of realized that I don't need that much and I don't really know what the next pull is, the thing that would pull me so strongly to really like go so hard the way that so many people do and so many people feel that they have to. So, but you don't have to if those aren't the things that you want. So business is a means to an end. Figure out what ends you're achieving, and maybe it's not the end of your entire life. I have no freaking idea like what my long-term goals are like that, but maybe you have some ends along the way in mind, and then business your way to those ends. Business as a means to an end. Don't just business to business. Don't just like do this just to show that you can, and don't just do this to like play numbers games and to compete with each other and compare yourselves to people and just think you need to be growing. I would much rather take my foot off the gas and enjoy the process and do things that I care about and that I like while making enough money to achieve the ends that I set out to. I don't need to just do growth for the sake of growth. I don't need to just build for the sake of building. I don't need numbers for the sake of numbers. You get these things as a proxy to something else. So spend some time thinking about what those things are that you do want to track towards. Same for me. I'm spending so much time thinking about that, and that's why I've kind of been stalled, is because I don't necessarily know. So I'm on the path as well, but I hope that this kind of made you think a little bit, because there's definitely way too many people just trying to just hustle for the sake of hustle, grind for the sake of grind, business for the sake of business, and business is a means to an end. So think about it that way, figure out what you really want, and then figure out, reverse engineering the steps to actually achieve that. It's probably a lot closer than you think, depending on what you want. And if you do want the big things, well then it's going to drive you a hell of a lot more to do the things that will get you to the big things, rather than just being like, well, I want $1 billion company. That's not going to motivate you enough to go get it. But if you want to do these big things in the world and that is what you are looking at, well, now you're going to have a lot more ammunition towards building something that big. So if you got this far in this video, please hit the thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed this. Definitely subscribe if you have not already. Click all that stuff. It's good for the YouTube algorithm, helps my videos get out to more people. Hope this was a cool mindset, thoughtful, thought-provoking type of video for you. Really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.